Hi there, welcome to Flylife. I'm just going to do a quick start video of how to get the best from your Flylife conversion. Right, first things first, power, mains power. Let's get plugged in. Right, power cable plugs into the side of the van just here. Plug in. To unplug, lift that lever, it comes out. Right, once we're plugged in outside, everything on the main side of the van works. So basically it'll be charging the batteries. You've got underfloor heating that'll run, the main side of the boiler, the microwave, and all the sockets will be working. Right, and then there's the 12 volt side. The 12 volt runs basically everything else in the van. So you switch it on using that switch there. That switch all the 12 volt on in the van. And then you press that button, that just primes the pump. You can hear it running, just priming. Yep, that primes the water pump. So everything that runs on the 12 volt side, you've got two leisure batteries and one vehicle battery. The L is how much power's in the leisure battery. So if you press that, it'll show you how much power's in the leisure batteries. If you press the V, it shows you how much power's in the vehicle battery. Generally, we run on the L, run on the leisure batteries, because you don't want to run your vehicle battery down. If it's an absolute emergency and you just need it for half an hour just to get to bed or whatever, you can press the V and run it on the vehicle batteries. And like I say, when it comes to charging, 3 ways of charging. When it's plugged in the mains, you see that orange light, that means it's charging. You can switch it on and off from there. There's a breaker for the charger inside here as well. So basically all the 240 side of it's here, all the main side's here, and all the 12 volt side is on that side. It's all taken care of in one neat box. Charging, then we've got a solar charger, which just leave it running. You can switch it off. There is a switch to switch the solar off just there. But I generally just leave it running, unless you get any issues of overcharging or anything like that. Just leave it running and it'll just top up your batteries in the background. You don't even know it's there. It sends 90% of the power to the leisure batteries and 10% to the vehicle battery, just to keep the vehicle battery topped up. You can also use the split relay, which basically, when the engine's running, the alternator's running, it's a stop-start alternator on these, so you need to use a smart relay. I never have it switched on, is the honest truth, because with it being stop-start, the alternators don't run that often anyway, so they're quite often cut in and out, so I leave the smart alternator off. And you can switch that on and off just there as well, the split charge switch, but I leave that off generally. The only two 12 volt appliances that aren't on the on and off switch just here are the fridge and the boiler. We switch them on and off just here, simply because we want them switched on all the time, you know, when you're away. So what you'll do is, if you're going away for a weekend or a week away, switch them on a day before you jump in the van. It'll have the fridge nice and cold, ready for you to go. That's basically what we do. When you get back from your trip, switch them off. Or if the solar controller's blinking at you telling you there's not enough power, switch them off. But generally you're okay. When it comes to gas, just go in this little thing here. You go to a petrol station with LPG, it's like a bayonet fitting. It goes in, clamps, you pull a lever back, and then press the button on the pump, and it fills. It'll stop filling when it's full. To see how much gas you've got left in the tank, under the floor, there is a little meter here. It switches on and off just there. I generally have it switched off, but every so often you just want to switch on and check. So we're just under half a tank there. If you ever need to cut the gas off for any reason, there is a gas shut-off valve just here, just in front of the boiler. And also one on the other side, just near the barbecue point. To work the hob, quite simply as standard, push it down, ignites, simples. Right, to fill the underfloor water tanks, if you go to that part of the van, near side, underneath, connect the hose pipe, turn it on at the wall, then you just turn this valve, the water will start flowing into the tank. When it's full, you'll hear a gurgling sound. It's water coming out of the breather pipes at the top of the tank, and that's when you turn it off. Just do the opposite. Turn this valve off, turn the tap off at the wall and then disconnect the hose. And then the waste's on the other side, just on this side of the van, underneath here. That valve there, just turn it and it releases any wastewater, which is only generally toothpaste and washing up water anyway. As I said before, your pumps are switched on because we switched the little tap on. If you want to see how much water's in the tank, you press the tank button and it will show you that we've got a good level of water in there. Obviously, taps just work like normal taps. Don't know. You'll have hot and cold running water as long as you've got the boiler on. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Toilet, you've got a flush button. It'll actually glow red if the toilet's full. It won't want you to flush anymore, but you just press that button whenever the power's on and you flush. Then there's a little valve on the front that actually releases. Okay, so emptying the toilet, pull the drawers bike slider forward. Little tiny lever, lift it up, and the whole cassette pulls out. Pull it around, empty fluids out, down a drain, down a toilet, or in an e-san at the campsite. Right, another thing a lot of people don't know about when having vans is when it gets really cold, just like your house, the pipes sometimes freeze up on them. To avoid this, if you're not using the van for a while, or if it's getting really cold, you're talking -3s, 4s, 5s, what you have to do is empty the actual boiler and empty the water system. The easiest way to do this is you make sure your pump is switched off, make sure both tanks are empty, and that's just dead easy. Underneath, just open the taps on both sides, let the tanks drain off all the water out of them, and then there's a little yellow lever just down there. Just flick that up, and that flushes all the water out of the system. You leave it up, just leave it up all winter, all the water will drain out. Then in the spring again, push the lever back down, it seals it, and then refill the system. Fill the tanks again, then switch the pump on, it'll draw water up, fill the water tanks, run all the taps, and it'll just save your van freezing up and ruining your pipe work and your boiler. As far as the heating goes, so we've got two forms of heating. We've got the underfloor when you plugged in the mains, and then we've got the big Truma blow air heating boiler. The underfloor, quite simply, either switch it on or off, pressing the on or off button, and then you choose your temperature, and then it's on a thermostat, so when it reaches that temperature it'll cut off, and that's it, all plugged in the mains. Then the other side of it is the big boiler. So on this you can run it on either gas or mains. If you plugged in the mains, you can run it on the mains, or you can run it on gas from under the floor. So basically you can select where you want the source of your power to come from, whether it's gas or electricity, using this, and it'll give you a choice. If you click on it, there's gas, mix 1, 2, electric 1, 2. The minute we're running on gas, so press that and it's selected gas. Then you've got the temperature for your water. You can either have it on eco, hot or boost. That gives you quicker water, obviously. The higher up you go, the quicker it goes, or just have it on eco and it just gently warms the water up in the background. And you can switch it off. And the same with the van temperature. In a minute, set to 17. You just turn it up and down on this little dial. Whatever you want, just press it, and it should get the van up to that temperature. There's a thermostat just here. When it reaches that temperature, it'll cut off again. There are timers. There are a lot more settings on it, but this is a quick guide. And again, to turn it off, select van, wind it all the way to the bottom to off. And the same with the water, just turn it to off. Got the extractor, you can either press the button to switch it on and off, or you can be laid in bed and switch it on from here. So with the radio, you can either Bluetooth to the radio. There's a memory stick and a 3.5mm jack underneath. And then to reinforce the sound, when you're sat chilling, if you've got the van power on, you can flick this switch and it'll amplify the sound. We've got an amp up here that just reinforces the sound in the back, give you a bit more sound back here. You can also plug into the jack that's just there and then flick the selector switch back here to select the jack rather than the van stereo, but I generally just run it through the van stereo, either Bluetooth to it or yeah, run off a USB. Right, and then when it comes to the TV, this is the TV area. So in order to save power again, it's got this independent little switch, because the telly always just stays on standby. So we have an independent switch just to switch the telly on. That puts it into standby mode. It also switches the aerial on. So in order to get the best out of the aerial system, and this is a great aerial system, you undo this collar, push the aerial up, and then you have to point it in a direction. I know where the direction of the nearest TV station is, and you turn it around, changing directions of the aerial until you get a green or an orange light on here, and it should set your TV up here, and that means you've got a TV signal. You can also plug in Fire Sticks, computers and tablets. When you've got your table set up, you've got HDMI port just here. I do stick a checklist in every van so that when you drive away, you'll be checking for bits on the side, all the doors are shut, unplugged, switched off, all them business. There's also how big your van dimensions are on the back. Alright, that's it for the quick start guide. It is only a quick start guide, it just gives you a rough flying idea of how to get up and running with your van. If you get any problems, call me. It's not a problem anytime, day or night. I can handle it. And yeah, thanks for watching.